تحت شعار واحد: نتسامح لنتعلم، نتسامح لنعمل، نتسامح لنكون.
Ambassadors, esteemed guests, and students, but I don't see very many students here yet. But one day, students, when you do come in, hello students. It's very important because you are our future, as you heard just a minute ago. So the reason why I stand on a public platform is because I practice the 3 C's: communicate, compromise, compassion. It is absolutely crucial. I believe very strongly that we have a freedom to speak our minds. We have the heart to realize that we can compromise, and the compassion to go forward with a peaceful coexistence together. When asked what religion I am, I say kindness. But surely you follow a religion. I say the most important component in any religion is kindness, humility, integrity, goodness, joy. It is listening and not judging. So I have to put my glasses on because you may wonder if this extraordinary country, Bahrain, and you know, it's very interesting because Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, His Royal Highness, before I left to come to Bahrain, you know, a long time ago he said, Bahrain lives in a harmonious way that other countries can only dream about. He said that when he was speaking at the Kingdom of Bahrain, millennia of peaceful coexistence and religious freedom. He asked me to repeat it again on stage today. Everyone recognizes human kindness when witness to it, and everyone has been at the receiving end of it, can testify of its impact. Now, kindness is remembering, kindness is loyalty, kindness is friendship, kindness is never forgetting who's been there through thick and thin, through good days, bad days, and rainy days. And Bahrain has done that to the whole of the York family. So thank you. I also wanted to give you an example of Albert Einstein, who spoke to a whole group, a hall of students, and he went through the 9 times table. And the last, when he got to 9 times 10, he said 91. And Albert Einstein waited for the silence of the hall to finish. And the hall was laughing at him, making mockery of his mistake. And he said, aha, you see, you know, I can do everything in the way I do it absolutely correctly. And I make one mistake and you laugh at me. You never remember the good things. So here today, I speak about how important it is not to judge. It is to remember the good things, to move on, to look up, take altitude, and always remember the simple act of kindness. Okay, so with that in mind, I wanted you to know that since the Bahrain people go back to, so many years. Betsy said, I think it's, 4 BC? No, 4? What? Yeah, anyway. So I suddenly thought that it must be in the DNA of humility and kindness. And so you might wonder why I'm standing here. And thank you so much, honestly, Minister of Justice, for staying. I cannot thank you enough, because I know you wanted to dart off with all your friends, but you stayed because I made you. And I tell you why I made him stay. And anybody that is listening, please, because today I'm offering a gift to the Kingdom of Bahrain, to His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. I offer you the first ever time that the kindness quota has ever been measured. So for you academics, all of you, and for every country that's listening, listen good right now. Because, are you ready? Okay. So Professor David Cantor is one of the most famous people that develops, for developing offender psychology profiling. Sorry about that for the translators. The Dr. Donna Young is a chartered forensic psychologist. I went to see them, and I said, is it possible to teach kindness? Is it possible to develop a scientific program that teaches kindness? It's a new academic discipline, an investigative psychology. Nobody's done this before, they said. Little academic literature on kindness. Nobody has established a scientific mechanism to measure kindness. Aha, I said. Let's do it. Let's call it not IQ, not EQ, but KQ. A new landscape for academic research and behavioral improvement schemes was born. We are 8 months away from putting it in primary education. 8 months. Nobody's got it in the world. You can have it, little gift for you. So, of course you can go on kindness.org.uk, and of course you can go on testyourown.kindness.org. I believe if we can, together with Montessori schools and other primary schools all over the world, and from the speech just a minute ago, we can start here, not just here in Bahrain, but everywhere. Croatia, Bosnia, are you listening? I believe that we can get into primary education, then moving on to other development programs and create kindness through primary, junior, and so we go on into university, and so we are bringing hope and teaching kindness globally. So it is pretty exciting, and Donna Young and David Cantor know that we can do this. So for those of you who'd like to know about the power of kindness and the KQ component, talk to me. Okay, so I can see Betsy saying don't bang on too long. You might want to know before you leave, because that was the important bit I was going to end with, but I thought the Minister of Justice might want to go. You know, he's got a busy day. But I just thought I'd better tell you why I am standing here. I'm standing here because my ancestor goes back to about the 14th century, 15th century, and I wanted to find out why I had this in my DNA to be kind. I mean, everybody can throw every kind of rock at me, but I'm still standing here. Why? Because I believe in the power of faith. I believe in humility. I believe that everyone deserves a smile. Everyone deserves a lift in a car, on a road. I believe that through this power, it is a superpower. And I'm very lucky to be red-headed, extremely strong, as you know, and extremely tempestuous. Rather like the weather, really. I just don't want to be put down because I believe in goodness, for goodness sake. So, why did I get this in my blood? So I went off and I researched, and this was Lord Wingfield, and he was very brave on the battlefields with Queen Elizabeth I, the red-headed queen. And she said, "Kneel before me, Wingfield." And she said, "What will I give you for your loyalty and your kindness and your bravery?" And he said, "The scarf around your neck, Your Majesty." It showed me, this is my ancestor from Ireland, and it showed me when I went back that this wonderful queen, my mother-in-law, I asked, when I was asked, what would you need in life? I said, friendship. Friendship, but everyone said, you need this, or you need a house, or you need that. I said, I need friendship. And that is what I believe is correct, because it will all come if you just hold the line. So, moving on from there, I decided, my grandmother always said, when you feel bad about yourself, go and give to others, because you'll suddenly realize the kindness that comes from the laughter and the love of a child and helping someone will fill your heart and make you feel so much better. So I traveled around the world, and I realized every child that I came to taught me a lesson, and it taught me a lesson of kindness. I started to realize that education was the key, and so I started in primary education in post-conflict and conflict areas. Hence I went to Bosnia, hence I went to Croatia, hence I went to Sierra Leone, Liberia, and all over the world to build schools. I started in 1992. I traveled to Sierra Leone. I went and saw the camp of the amputees. I went there and I found Mohammed. I said, "What happened, Mohammed?" He said, "Oh, you know, I had a best friend and he was stolen into being a boy soldier, and he was on drugs. He didn't know what he was doing when he cut my leg off." I said, "Mohammed, my goodness, how old are you now?" He said, 18. I said, "Where is your friend?" He said, "He's playing football over there." I said, "But do you forgive?" And I said, "Are you friends?" And he said, "Of course." He didn't know. It wasn't his fault. And I forgive him. So Mohammed, on my journey, in search of my own heart, taught me more kindness and forgiveness in 1 second than any single other person. So I left Sierra Leone, and I always remember Mohammed. What's the next one? And I went to work in America. And in America, I worked for 12 years as the longest running spokesperson for any company there, Weight Watchers. And I realized the kindness of the American people changed my life. So I didn't know how to thank them for changing my life. So I saw this photograph on the front of Newsweek, and I said, I need to go to Oklahoma City and find this child. I flew to Oklahoma City, I found the children in intensive care, and I went up and met Dolores. I said, "Dolores, what can I do for you?" She said, "Save my grandson." There is Dolores there. And there's PJ. And so I said, "Well, Dolores, I don't quite know how to do it." So I went to lunch, and on the menu, I drew, normally I don't draw on other people's menus, but I drew Little Red on the menu. And here's Little Red. And I took the drawing to FAO Schwartz, and I said to FAO Schwartz, "Please make her up into a doll, and please, we'll sell her for $20, we'll start a foundation called Chances for Children, and let's save the lives of the children of Oklahoma City bombing." What happened then was Howard Lutnick of Cantor Fitzgerald, he gave me an office on the 101st floor of the World Trade Center, and Little Red and I went around America helping children. We are examples of survival. We never give up, do we? No. And this is her sister there. And on that dreadful disaster in 9/11, from 101 floors, Little Red, look, she's just a rag doll, was in the rubble. And a fireman, like the fireman that saved PJ at Oklahoma City all those years before, picked up Little Red and put her in his helmet and carried her out. And CNN was filming, and Larry King said, "Look," someone said, "Oh, there's a child's doll," and Larry King said, "No, that's no child's doll. That's Fergie's Little Red, and she stands for children's rights all over the world, and she's a voice of kindness." Thank you, Betsy. And from that moment, I donated Little Red to Ground Zero Museum. So if you go there today, if you go to Ground Zero Museum today, you will see Little Red in her glass case. And it says underneath, "Little Red, the only object to survive the North Tower of 9/11. Not a key, not a passport, not a button. Just a doll that stands for children's rights all over the world." So when I started today, and thank you again, Sir Sheikh, for staying, but I wanted you to stay because I want you to hear that this is not a joke, this is real. Because how is it my doll survived such an extraordinary thing? How is it that I bring to you KQ today, which no one in the world has ever heard about until this very second? How is it that Andrew and I brought up 2 beautiful girls, and we are now, well, that was a few years ago, don't worry. And we brought them up with kindness. Usually at her wedding, wore her scar of scoliosis down her spine with pride, deliberately to show young people to wear your scars openly, and the scars of the heart that can't be seen still talk about it, still. And Beatrice, who is very, very dyslexic, she she speaks openly about what it is to have special needs and learn dyslexia. This is my gift to my children. On their 18th birthday, I took them to teenage cancer units to teach them that kindness comes in so many different packages, but the greatest gift is the gift of kindness. So on their 18th birthday, they saw how important life is. So that's why I wanted all the students that are here today, but they'll hear about it, to understand that through the voice of teenagers, I stand up here with strength. I really do. So that is it. The smile of a child, the health of a nation from the heart. You're talking to me now. And I think that I've said it all, but it's only thanks to Betsy and the platform and to the wonderful His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Crown Prince, Prime Minister, Your Highnesses, and ambassadors, esteemed guests, and students, and Crown Princes, and the Minister of Justice, and all of you here today. Honestly, thank you so much for listening, and I'm just really proud that we're changing policy through kindness. So well done. Thank you very much.